Alright folks, time for some 3v3 match mode replay analysis. I believe this is the first 3v3 I've done on my channel, so I'll probably try and say some generic words about what 3v3s are like as I go through this replay. But this match in particular was pretty interesting. We just played it tonight and we had a lot of fun doing it. It's a very exciting match, and I'll try not to spoil the ending, but um, we we had a lot of fun. So it was me, Spirit, and Kick on the USSR side, and I really love playing with these guys lately. They've been killing it. They were both pretty new players to World in Conflict who suddenly got a lot better. They've been really busting their butts to practice and learn and get better, and so now they're like pretty decent match mode players, and it's pretty cool to see. So Spirit in particular is like he's been killing Inf. We're doing a really good job of that, and Kickapoo has been doing great at both mid-air and support in the matches I've seen him play. So they're becoming specialists in that regard. I think Spirit is trying to build out his armor skills now, and so we're probably in not our most efficient role allocations here. I think if this USSR team was trying to beat anybody we could and play our best game, I think probably I'd be on armor and Spirit would be on inf. But we're gonna do it this way instead. It's pretty fun. We had just played a match against the same group previously from the USA side, and we lost. And I was pretty tilted about that, so I'm going to be trying to play hard on this match. Although I was pretty sloppy tonight. I'm not sure what was going on. I was maybe feeling a little bit off or something. But this is an exciting match, but not altogether a clean one. It's not very clean, very rough around the edges. But our opponents are Weesk, Diamor, and the Legion. The Legion, I think, is a Smurf of I'm not sure whom, but yeah, he's I think he's a Smurf that's been running around with like 5 or 6 different profiles recently. So he does pretty good. He plays mid air this match, um, and he holds his own certainly. So uh, I think what I'll start out doing is I'll show this cool little console trick for anyone who doesn't know it to uh, kind of skip through these early loading times and match modes, or just the wait times while we're trying to get started and people are picking teams. So you just type in the console time.scale and then whatever multiplier you want for how fast it goes, and I just pick 30 or something like that. And I had to slow it down just now because we're about to start the match. But so we'll get started here.
Be ready to command.
And so I said I'd say a couple words about 3v3s in general. So normally, really the only efficient role strategy is to neglect support. So you go armor, inf, and mid-air. There are some possibilities, I guess, to play armor, support, heavy air, but I think it generally doesn't work out because the support player, just ends up getting killed by things, and you don't have inf, and it's tough. On a map like Seaside, it's especially tough because how are you going to win this map without inf? So this is what both teams do here. We go armor, inf, mid air. So I'll just make a couple comments on our starting spawns here. I'm I'm actually pretty opposed to Spirit's opening spawn on this map. I think he should have had a couple med tanks. That is my preference because on Seaside, the med tanks have a pretty good ability to shoot up the firing lanes and possibly use their special ability to take out whole inf squads. So the USSR med tanks have a high explosive round, and USA med tanks have a phosphorus round that are their special abilities, and if you aim them at the ground where an infantry squad is, you can pretty quickly take out like a whole M squad. Especially so Weesk has this med tank here, so he could possibly creep up here, and if I try and unload this truck here, if I try and unload it next to the super strong corner building, then Weesk might be able to sneak that guy up far enough to then make a med tank shot onto wherever I unload the truck and just instantly evaporate the squad before I had a chance to spread it out. The med tanks can't kill a spread squad, but they sure can kill one that's just hopping out of a transport. So You got to be real careful with that on Seaside, especially if you know you're facing a good armor player. And Weesk has these med tanks, and I know that he has the ability to hit me with those shells. So we can see that I get around that by hiding him behind the buildings there when I release him. And actually, I didn't get him that far back. I could have maybe gone a little bit further and had him enter from behind the building, but luckily he's fine. Our mid-air causes the med tanks to smoke up. He can't see what's going on. This AT was behind that building, and he's getting back into that building because I don't want to run him out through the open while there's med tanks about. Don't want to do that. And Spirit's doing the right thing here. He is going up to get that cap, doing a good job of it. I'm able to hit those med tanks with my reg. I'm shooting the med choppers with my reg. It's good to have that reg. One thing I'll point out is that I think Diemor was running all of his infantry into town without transports. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'll reserve judgment because he did end up getting a good amount of infantry to the front. But I typically think it's more impactful if you actually transport your guys to the front with trucks, which is what I do pretty much all the time. That is on the first spawn. On later spawns, I don't worry about it as much, but especially because it'll be cutting into my micro time later on. When I've already got stuff on the field, it's harder to go back here to your spawn and load a guy into a truck and then find a place to drive it to and then dump him out when it's time. So that's when it's helpful or more acceptable to just kind of run the guys up to battle. But I'll continue the replay here. So we're going to get this cap, and that's a big deal. It's always good to get a town cap at the beginning of the game. Spirit is unfortunately going to lose his tank.
You got casualties.
Would have been good if he was able to get it back, but I mean there are two AT squads whacking them there up at the front. So another thing I'll point out is that I dumped off one of my regs back here and then moved the truck over to help cap research. And my second spawn was at research with a reg and a sniper. I knew from the previous game that Diemor really likes to drop these woods pretty heavily. It was either Diemor or Weesk. I'm not sure which of them was doing the dropping, but they were dropping these woods pretty heavily. And on my opening spawn, I also had a sniper, and I put him in this ultra strong sniper spot here that can shoot all over town. And they were really flooding the town with Enfen, the forest with Enfen. Both Diemor and Weesk were dropping the whole time, and it ended up in the last match, I couldn't do anything in town because all the buildings were dead. And something similar is going to happen in this one, but it was even worse in the previous match that we lost, where there was basically no healthy buildings left in town at all. Not even the weak ones, like these little ones. They were all direct RD'd at some point by airbornes. So I think that speaks to how dedicated each of the teams was to the drop war.
We sent your new units. Be ready to command them.
So I was hoping to move that truck up to fortify that side with Spirit Gun while I fortify this side. I'm not actually sure. I don't think a truck and a light really fortifies a point. If they're on there together, I don't think it really fortifies it that much faster, if at all faster, than just a regular light. I'd have to test that out a little bit. I've forgotten what the rule is, but I believe there's thresholds of units that the speed of the fortification. So it's something from 0 to 1200 reinforcement points on the circle is one speed, and then 1200 to 2400 is another speed or something. That's why if you put it's a 1v1 strategy, you can put 3 heavy tanks on one circle that you've capped, and then get a machine gun forward up in 15 seconds. It's ridiculous. So some people do that in 1v1s. It's just a little scary because you might get TA'd. But that's 3,600 reinforcement points, so it speeds up the fortification a lot. In this case, I think I was just doing it because then I would get fortification points from both circles. So it was just more points, more TA for me.
Very request.
So I called in an LGB on this AT here because if I'm DMR and I got an AT in that building, I'm never leaving it because this building is so hard to kill through conventional means. I try and occupy that building every game that I can, and it's an oversight of me here that I didn't get it. I should have moved this AT into that corner building, if only to deny USA side from having it. But so my first round of drops here are coming down.
They're taking hostile infantry. Kill.
Spirit also helped with the drops, so Spirit has drops there, there, and there. So those are some pretty reasonable drop locations, especially because he was right on time with them. And mine are just trying to, get control of town and keep our rear safe. So we have a heavy tank assaulting the research facility there. I'm telling Spirit to try and save that light tank. It's okay if he can decap, because our medium air guy has the upper hand right now. And Kick is going to go over there and kill this heavy tank. Hopefully, he's going to get the light at least. And so here, we already got some like extreme happenings going on with the artillery. We're already killing buildings, and he's got like 2 snipers covering town right now. I think that's overkill. Blico was using a lot of snipers. That's kind of why I brought out 2 myself in this game, because I'm like, man, if he's gonna bring out that many regs and both of them are gonna be dropping on me and they're gonna have this many snipers, I need to make sure they're not able to play open field info on me and they're not able to run through town, because that's what this sniper will do. This sniper will help me if he's trying to cap points in town or decap them or prevent us from capping. This sniper will hit those guys, and also if he's trying to run them across to get to this side of town, so from there to there, that sniper will help deal with that problem. This sniper, of course, covers research really well. So, to be continued on this drop war here, but you can see that for both teams, the armor and inf, we're both dropping airbornes. And that's probably a contributing factor to why the buildings are really going to get roughed up. So our medium air player has briefly lost the upper hand, which is how the ebb and flow of the medium battle goes. He's gonna be able to keep him off Spirit Gun for a moment here, but I want to deny his cap with this tank buster. Weesk is not going to fully cooperate, and he just gets grazed by it, and he stays alive. So I decided I'm going to try and save that reg, put him in the forest. This tank might escape. It'd be a shame if this tank escapes, but I think he might end up escaping. So they're using gas on me here. I shouldn't have let this happen. They shouldn't have had an opportunity to use gas on me here. This guy should have been moving up to here much sooner, and this one should have probably spread out there, because I was probably going to leave that reg in that building no matter what, because this is a really strong building and it has easy access to this point. It's a good place for a reg or an AT. I like to put regs there though. So I should not have let this gas happen. They put it down because they had the opportunity to, and they saw the value of it. And that was just my beat. So now I'm gonna have to escape to where, I should have gone before, but now the infantry is gonna be all jacked up. This is another reason why if you're playing armor on Seaside, it's not a bad idea to keep med tanks around the whole game, like 1 or 2 of them. I try and keep my med tanks in the beginning alive for a long time, and I'll occasionally bring out extras if both of those beginning spawn medium tanks die. But so if Weesk had a medium tank there, he might have taken a shot at that reg and could have phosphored him and got all of those poor men who were already choking on the chemical warfare. So this medium air, medium anti-air I brought is very dramatic, and I think I was just getting frustrated because the meds were so prevalent and roughing us up. So I didn't realize this. It took me a minute to diagnose this in the heat of the moment. But one thing I think that Spirit should have done or been doing earlier is instead of having a lot all heavy tanks, he should have had a lot more light tanks. He doesn't have the capacity right now, in my opinion, to um, support three heavy tanks. Like three heavy tanks is something you have when you're winning the drop war easily. You've got all the caps that you need, and you're already in command, and then you're dropping TA light tanks. So if you don't already have TA light tanks on the ground to use for capping and speed and all of that, your entire force cannot consist of just three heavy tanks. So I think that's a strategic error there. Um, and my dramatic medium anti-aircraft vehicle is going to help me at research. Um, but so we are kind of getting outdropped in town a little bit here. So Diemor and Weisk both have like a lot of infantry back there. And so another thing, I don't mean to like pick on Spirit Gun, um, but this shouldn't have happened. Um, that is not a customer service friendly Jeep. Like I understand the desire to not put your Jeeps in danger, but this is too hard to get to. And the other thing is, I also had a Jeep on the field, and you get a lot more points for repairing, and therefore TA for repairing if you're repairing somebody else's units. So when you repair your own units, you get some repair score and some repair TA, but not as much as you would really get if you were repairing somebody else's units. Like it's actually a pretty significant amount. So um, maybe what I should have done is I should have had a second Jeep because one Jeep was not enough because Kick was getting damaged a lot by the mid-air battle, and Spirit was getting damaged a lot by the tank battle. So I probably should have had a second Jeep, but absolutely, like you can't like go all the way back here for repairs with your heavy tank. I mean, to get this heavy tank back in action, that Jeep is gonna repair that for some amount of time. And this heavy tank, like how long does it take to drive all the way back there and then back up? It's way too long. So it'd be much better if you hid the Jeep like behind these buildings here. I'm hiding mine fortifying right here. They can't see that right now. I know they can't see that, so it's okay to put it there. You could also I hide it back here sometimes. Even here or here is a better option. And so I guess if you want to like know your opponents, then um, I know that this guy Legion tends to like to drop airborns in the backfield to like get sneaky kills on your spawn units and your jeeps and stuff. I think generally that's not ultimately worth it, but it sure is annoying if you're already losing and you're having trouble getting an upper hand. Then all of a sudden you get your jeeps direct artied. That really sucks. So um, what I should have done is I also should have had airborne drops here in these woods to make sure that we weren't getting dropped on by enemies. So that's another thing that I probably should have just known my opponent and done that. But I was too busy trying to keep up with all of this mess in town because that is just a lot. And I don't want to kill the buildings because like we could pull for a carpet bomb probably and get rid of all of that, but I don't want to do that because I want to use those buildings eventually. Another thing going on here, and I don't know if I'm being a little too long-winded with this replay review, um, but I thought I'd go kind of hardcore on the analysis here and talk through kind of everything that's going on. But we're only 5 minutes in the match, so maybe I need to speed things up. But so I put this light arty barrage down, and a lot of people don't know, but you can kill the research facility 100% guaranteed with light arty. Light arty is actually a directional attack. There's just no arrow, so it's like cluster bombs or air to airs or something like that. You just have to infer where the arrow is based on how you drag the mouse. And so wherever you drag the mouse, the shells come in at about 2 o'clock to wherever you're pointing the mouse. So if you're pointing the mouse towards 12 o'clock on the face of the clock, like this, the shells will come in to the 2 o'clock, right about like that. So with this one, basically what you do is you click at the base of the research facility, like kind of right in the middle of the base there, and then drag up this way towards this hill, like that. And that'll 100% guaranteed kill the research facility if you do it right. Because the shells will come in straight against it, and it'll kill it. So I'm going to let the replay roll here, because I'm really talking a lot on this one. I'm going to get a sneaky cap on beach. This shouldn't have been allowed to happen. So if I'm going to critique USA side, they should have had a light unit or something fortifying beach, because we were in no position to push it. Even if they had like an APC or something, I would have had a difficult time capping this. So they really should have had fortifications up there, or at least starting to get some. So we have a bit of a situation at research here that I'm not yet dealing with properly. I've seen it now, though. I'm working on it. I'm going to move this sniper into position to engage this airborne. Reg is keeping vision on him. My dramatic anti-air vehicle is going to go help with the cap. I'm getting run over at beach. See, it was that easy. It was that easy to kill me there. If they had somebody in the area before, I wouldn't have gotten TA out of capping it. But so, see, I'm not sure where this Captain Heavy Tank is going. This repair Jeep is still way back there. But right now, Spirit, these are the only units Spirit has in the field. If he had like a bunch of regs or something, we could conceivably go for a cap here. Kick is going for the Jeeps. Oh, he just got tank busted. But Kick kills the Jeeps, which did probably help us out. It helped him out in the air battle at least. I think he just lost to ranked chopper, but is he gonna get that one too? He is. But so if we were in any position, he could have actually been supporting the town while they were repairing. And maybe that would have put him in a worse spot later because he wouldn't have killed their Jeeps, but we might have done better in town if there were some light tanks around and he was working on that heavy tank and killing that. We could have capped town, and that would have been a better outcome for us, I think, than killing their Jeeps. But so I'm playing some aggressive airborne drops up here at town, trying to just stop this like terrible, horrifying blob. They're going to continue dropping on me, and there's nothing I can do about it because those airbornes have already used their arties. I'm going to try and get this. I mean, this sniper is a one-bar sniper. I don't even know where he came from. I have to watch again to see where he came from. That arty was not very good. Another thing I should tell you guys is that, maybe, if you read my guide, you might know this, but all of the direct arties on this map come from one direction, and that is like towards this hill area, from the vicinity of this hill area. So you can imagine the direct arties, like, you know, the arty sitting over here or something, and so the angle of the arty comes down slightly from that direction. So I didn't get this building. It's not always easy to get these little ones. I mean, you could practice, but in the heat of the moment, like, can you really like zoom in and line it up properly? This building here is usually pretty easy to kill because you just put the arty at the very base here, and then the two shells coming in from the gas station area will both hit it and knock it down. But that's something to keep in mind, that's where the arty shells come in from. And so if you're an armor player and you're like in a 1v1 or something, because a 1v1 is the only time I can conceivably think of this happening, and you have like there's an enemy airborne over here or something, and you have a heavy tank sitting on the point, don't face its butt towards the gas station and the hill between gas station and research, because then the shell might be coming in angled at its butt. You don't want that to happen, so don't do that. So Spirit's getting some lights now, which is good. That's going to give him more capping power. I think we need to be more fast and furious and aggressive in town, because he could decap it right now. If he could cap it right now, so he could go to the top, and I could help him cap the top right. We could easily get a cap on this right now. He needs to run over this inf, and I need to be paying attention, so I hope I'm paying attention. I hope this cap happens. Oh no, they got a clutch forward up. So that's a reason why you always want to make sure you decap when you know the enemy can't recap, I might have done this. I think we were having a lot of trouble getting caps going, so I was hesitant to decap. I might have hopped out there and gone to this back point and decapped it because I knew they wouldn't be able to easily recap it. I was just a little afraid because we've been having difficulties. Now Spirit has decapped it, but his tank by now is all jacked up, and they got a full health heavy tank. We kind of missed our opportunity. They're dropping again at research. I don't have a lot to do. I can't do a lot about that right now. I got beach again while I wasn't paying attention. I think I probably just put an APC and an AT there and got it that way.
If you need more units,
I
you
got
can
my
bring them
dramatic
in now.
anti-air vehicle still alive. So Spirit this is a mistake. He's going back to his Jeep instead of repairing at mine. So we would have gotten a lot more TA if he had repaired at mine. And so,
You lost a unit.
to just discuss in a 3v3 who should be dropping the Jeeps, it's probably is probably the person that should be doing it because it's cheapest for him to drop Jeeps and he can repair both players. So the air player can go to the Jeep station and the armor player can go to the Jeep station. And the infantry player doesn't really have anything to repair, so it works out because you want to repair other people's units. You want to repair your teammates' units. When I play armor, I also drop Jeeps in 3v3s usually, but that's because I'm selfish and I like having TA. And so if both the armor and inf are gonna drop Jeeps, then the air player should go to the armor player's Jeep, and the armor player should go to the inf player's Jeep. That way they're both making as much TA as they can. So we're going to get a nice cap here on research with that dramatic anti-air vehicle. It's now a 2-bar. So there are some units I'm good at keeping alive. I'm not good at keeping alive APCs with ATs in them, but I am good at keeping alive tanks and medium anti-air vehicles and so on. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't see it. I didn't see the airborne.
Unit gone.
I'm worried this guy's gonna die too. Already. I was able to reinforce here at beach, but he's not gonna last long. He's just gonna annoy them a little bit more. I'm dumping an AT at gas station and moving my APC back into town to help. So they've got general tanks rolling around, which is not a good indication for us. I mean, we have a captain. There goes the medium anti-air vehicle. He almost had a machine gun fort up too. So I'm sick of this general heavy tank. I'm sick of it. So I'm placing a tank buster. It's not something I normally do. I'm not going to get him. That's why I don't normally do it because it's a bit of a toss-up. I foolishly lost my APC there because I wasn't paying attention. My sniper's going to town on these airbornes at research. That is a really powerful sniper spot. I mean, that's one of the reasons why USSR has an advantage, a base advantage at this point, because they got that sniper spot.
Your units arrived and need orders.
I'm still dropping in town to try and deal with the town crisis because we still don't have it capped. We can't keep beach capped because I'm the only one there. And I'm getting run over eventually by med-air or tanks or inf or whatever. And this operation for them is going way too swimmingly. And I have to keep reinforcing it by taking an APC and stuff. So my theory, when the buildings start to die, is I will start carting inf around in APCs. This is not what DMR is doing. DMR is just basically running regs up from spawn. I don't think this is a fantastic idea. It certainly helps his team with the med-air battle because there's lots of regs around. But it doesn't help with the ground battle, although you might say here that Weisk is handling Spirit Gun, so they don't need to, they don't really need help on the ground, so having those regs shooting at choppers are much better. But as I was saying at the beginning of the match, look at the state of town right now. This whole section's gone, this whole section is gone, all of it. It's crazy. 2 buildings dead there. These are basically dead. Like, even the buildings that are still standing are mostly dead. I can't go into one of those buildings. It'd be better to be out in the open. That building is almost dead, and I'm still in it. That building is good, but there's only an entrance on the right side, so it's not that helpful. I think at this point I'm just resorting to keeping my inf in the woods back here. this guy's going to go into this building, and this guy's going to go in the woods. I'm putting some light arty down for the regs. I mean, I guess if anything, you could say that Pleiko's strategy of spamming regs just running around is forcing me to use some TA on him to protect my mid-air player. This building should die pretty quick. I mean, he's going to keep running regs around, and it's just going to be difficult for him to find any buildings. It's difficult for me to find any buildings. I finally got a control, I think, of research, which is helpful. I mean, since there are no buildings left here, what's the point of dropping there anymore? So I dropped over at research. I'm looking at a beach cap here. I'm just afraid to decap because I keep losing hold of it.
Enemy soldier isn't moving.
Kick is telling me that I can go ahead and do it. I think he didn't know there was a machine gun fort there, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to move up, have my AT kill the machine gun fort. But now they're already reinforcing, so I'm kind of late. Kick is going to help me. Watch what Kick did. He shot one missile off to make the Legion drop his flares, and he waited until the flares finished, and now he's shooting his missiles off. So good mid-air play by Kick. I mean, it's really a bluffing game of, you know, make the other guy flare, and then remember which choppers of his have flared, and then you know, go for those when he doesn't have flares. Shoot the missiles then. So with Kick's help, I am gonna get beach capped here. Spirit's bringing in more regs. I got carpet bombed. I think that was a bit of a I'm not British, so I can't say cheeky, but I can't think of another word to describe it. I think they just kind of thought that they had already won the game, and so they thought they'd finish the last of the buildings with the carpet bomb. I mean, it does hurt me. I'm not going to say it's not a worthless carpet bomb, because that did hurt me. By the way, while I was rambling, I managed to pull off a successful cap operation at gas station, so that's going to get us a couple arrows. I think they weren't counting on that. Now we have a couple arrows. Helps us a bit. I got RD'd at beach. But yeah, I mean, that carpet bomb finished off basically the last of the buildings in the back of town. So we have not nuked in this match, but there's essentially no buildings in town left. It's completely deurbanized. Deurbanized? Is that a word? Anyway, Spirit's gonna decap here. I agree with that decap. He's got a general tank, though. I'm afraid for that general tank. He only has the 2 units on the map right now, but he's got the lights coming up, so those lights need to get in the battle as quick as they can. I goofed. I was going to resupply this AT, and I meant to hop him out on the back side of the building, but he hopped out on the front, and I hit the resupply button before I noticed the mistake. I'm getting dropped on at research. I'm going to have to try and defend this. Really, what the USA side did that made it so difficult for us was they just kept making it hard for us to ever hold on to any point. So I can't direct already all of the airbornes there. I got 2 of them. I'm going to finish this one off with the sniper, the guns and the airborne, and the mostly dead APC. They have a general tank just chilling at research, which is a major problem for us because he's shooting everywhere. He can shoot into town, he can shoot into research. He was shooting. We were lucky he was shooting the building with my airborne in it, because I think that tank can shoot the light tank there that was sitting. He can't right now, but he could before. I don't think we would have gotten the cap. Now it's just tearing up the forts at research, and I'm telling Kick. I tell him here that just start bringing in heavy choppers and suiciding to take some of these ranked tanks off the map. Spirit remembers that, or realizes that his Jeep was not customer service friendly, so he was moving it up. Now he's really moved it up to the point where it's going to die, I think. But he's getting repairs for that general. Again, like, you really want to be repairing other people's units for maximum TA generation. We're dropping in some airborne for you. Check out. I'm going to get a clutch machine gun fort there. I got beach capped, and I did a nice little APC insertion of an AT up to the front. That's why I like using APCs. I think if DMR had started doing that, it would have worked out better for them, because imagine we did not have the capacity to stop an APC. If it started out at beach over here, if it spawned over here with an AT in it, and just went straight up the gut from here to there, and then into our TV station, there's still some buildings here in TV station. Like that building is surviving, that building's surviving. He could take those buildings, or even these back here. He could probably get the APC in that far before we do anything. We don't have armor there to deal with it. So that would have been better for them than constantly spamming regs. Although again, the regs in town did help them fend off medium air. My sniper is just going to town at this point. He's a 2-bar. Diamor had a 2-bar sniper hiding here. I don't know if it's actually shooting anything or if it's just ranking up by capping town. I'm getting gassed again. I don't think that really helped them that much. I mean, if they wanted this AT dead, they should have just LGB'd it. If you absolutely positively have to have an infantry dead, you LGB it. You don't want to use it too often. I mean, it's expensive, right? Yeah, so it's only for those infantry that you absolutely positively need to die. I did it earlier in this match with the AT that was in that corner building. They should have done it here to get rid of this AT, because this AT is really going to hurt them. And also, I got into a very risky building here. I did not expect this guy to live, because someone needs to just put 5 TA on the supermarket and kill it immediately. There's no reason this building should ever survive if there's enemy infantry in it. I guess they might look at this and say, well, there's like 1 man left in that squad. I'm not going to deal with it right now, but I mean, that 1 AT guy can shoot at these forts that needs to die. Put 5 TA on it. It will never fail.
You got casualties.
It will never fail to destroy the supermarket. They're pushing beach again. I'm dropping in light tanks because I need some mobile capping power. And at this point I'm getting a surplus of TA because I'm generating a lot of points. They just tank busted my general jeep and Spirit's general heavy tank, which is unfortunate. Good thing is I got this area fully forwarded. We're gonna get research back here. At this point they may be decapping too much, right? They kind of got a stranglehold on us. Well, I won't call it stranglehold, but they beat us enough that they don't need to frantically decap anymore, really. There's only 2 minutes left. The last thing you want to do is decap enough to give us enough TA to get back into this thing. I dropped more tanks at gas station. Now this is something I don't usually do. I don't usually drop tanks behind enemy lines. I usually drop them in the back and then drive them up and use them to attack conventionally as if they were reinforcement point tanks. But this game's almost over, so there's calls for special measures.
You got casualties.
Spirit should get town here pretty easy. There's nothing there. That's why you need the light tanks, so you can quickly get these points. I'm going to get some forts up at beach here, but look, so when I was talking about how this AT cannot survive, I jumped that AT out, put him in the forest here to resupply, and then I brought him back. So now it's a full health AT. And this was the AT that they gassed out of here. So it was in this building here, I think. So they could have LGB'd that building while I was at full strength, and I would have lost that AT immediately. But they gassed it, so I saved its life, ran it in the supermarket. They did not kill supermarket when they should have. Only cost 5 TA. And now I'm using supermarket to kill the forts at supermarket. Like, I'm using the literal supermarket to kill the forts at supermarket point. And I'm gonna get a cap out of it. But look, we got a minute left, and we're still at like 10% dom bar.
Last member embarked.
We have a lot capped right now, but I mean, this is going to be a tight one. And I know this, so I'm going to drop directly on the points here. I dropped some already there to kill the airbornes. Luckily, we had vision on this guy, so I think my sniper's just beating him up. I'm going to kill this heavy tank, hopefully, with a missile from the light tank. Let's see it happen. I'm going to get him. I got him. So that heavy tank is dead. So now what are they going to do at gas? I put this heavy air support here, but it's not going to kill anything because that's all inf. So I'm just going to keep this point. I'm going to keep this AT on this point because I'm going for total dom. So I got it. And look, how crazy is that? That light tank was a hair away from dying when I capped the gas station. In fact, if the Legion had microed his choppers a little bit to go over top of the tank instead of shooting from the side, probably I would not have got that cap in time. So we've got this total dom going. They are doing everything they can to get me off this point. I put an arty down before I saw the heavy
You got
tanks.
casualties.
So I'm like, well, if I just kill everybody there, hopefully I keep it capped. So they stopped the total dom. They decapped supermarket.
We're taking hits! Target defeated! We're taking hits! We're
10
taking hits!
seconds remaining.
I am like screaming over VoIP at this point.
Kill the
Destroy
unit.
the
There's
enemy!
nothing I can do. I just have to
Three.
hope.
2, 1.
And we just got it. 51.1
killed.
to
They are engaging
48.9. Crazy match. Lots of stuff going on there. Like I said, wasn't the cleanest match. There's definitely some things that we all can improve on, and I was feeling a bit slow, and I lost some stuff I shouldn't have. But it was, pretty fun. It was a pretty fun one and exciting, and I think we all had a good time. So I want to do this video to commemorate it and say thanks to the guys for playing, because we're still playing Wick in 2021. And that's awesome. Take care.